All right, ladies and gents, welcome. Hope you were excited for a camel noise, because that's what I got for you. What? It's like the quietest camel ever. Also, Song Song was AFK for the first 10 seconds. Anyways, welcome. Welcome. We've got a 1v1 here between Song Song, well into that top 100. I'd say he's more top 30 from Vietnam. Song Song playing as the Gurjaras. And then in the blue, we've got Overtaken. Overtaken playing as the Aztecs. Now, I'm going to make a separate video about this player. I haven't decided how I'm going to do it yet. But I think Overtaken is the most aggressive player within the top 100. Can you guys think of anyone else that would remove him from that? Now, you probably haven't seen as many games, but he's going like 17 population feudal. Couple villagers forward, man-at-arm, archer, scouts. His aggression is very hard to match these days, and he's playing as the Aztecs. We'll see if he does it here. Lovely, lovely player. And we've got a lovely, lovely Civ that he's up against in the Gurjaras. And just to go down the list of bonuses for the Gurjaras, the main one is that they can garrison their herdables within the mill. They garrison their herdables within the mill, and that gives them a bit of a food boost. If you have, I think, all 8, it's like having 1.5 villagers on food. And I remember the day the Civ was released, I played it a lot on stream. Obviously, people saw the bonuses. There were a lot of people talking about it already. And there were a lot of people saying, and I can't necessarily blame them, but they were saying it's not that good of an eco bonus. And I think, you know, my buddy Spirit of the Law made a video on it, talked about the income rate, and, you know, I watched it as well, and I think he, you know, made it seem like it's kind of underwhelming. But I think it's just, like, so strong because of when you get it. Having an extra villager on food, or villager and a half on food at this stage of the game is massive. And I've been really happy with the balance of the Gurjaras so far. Now, the other thing you want to talk about with the Gurjaras, they have the unique unit. It's called the Chakram Thrower. I believe, who called them a disco thrower? Somebody called them a disco thrower at some point. I'm sticking with that. Not a disc thrower, a disco thrower. They're throwing the disco. That's their unique unit out of the castle. They also have a unique unit out of the stable, and I really struggled to pronounce it, so forgive me, but it's the Shravamsha, I believe. And guys, I think I said even in a YouTube upload, so I've got to clarify it because people are probably going to be hearing that at some point. I heavily underestimated that Shravamsha. I will have more uploads, and I will show you that Shravamsha, but there's a player right now who's playing only Gurjaras, and I've played as Mayans and Aztecs. I've gone Eagles. I've gone Archers. I went 3-range crossbows with ballistics with thumb ring. The Shravamsha is meant to be good against Archers, and believe me, they are. Combined with the fact that then you do 50% additional bonus damage with your camels, it becomes rather tricky to know what to make against the civilization. Just think about it. You want to make Archers? They've got the Shravamsha. You want to make Knights? They've got the camels. So they kind of cover all their bases. Archer, Knight play very dominant. Now, you've got to change your entire build order, right? High-level players, you know, they take advantage of the 2 bushes you get for free underneath your TC as the Gurjaras. They always are going to have the 8 sheep in there, and they're never going to remove them. But you've got to, you know, take straggler trees for a while, which Song Song had to do. And generally, you're going to push in some deer to make up for some food there as well. But Song Song's going to click up shortly. And I'm curious on Overtaken's uptime, because Overtaken typically is up very fast, but he might not be able to do that with the Aztecs as successfully as he does with some other civs. You make pikes against them? Well, if you make pikes, then they have the disco throwers. So honestly, the Gurjaras are really sick civ. I don't think they're the best 1v1 civ ever, but I think they're very underrated, and I think we're going to see more and more why this civ is strong. Yeah, so Song Song, a player. I'll tell you a little story about Song Song. You guys know me, and I like to tell stories. He used to be known as Kutazoa. It was like Kutaxoa, XOA, or something like that. That was his Voobly name. He also had another account called Song Song, but he didn't start being called Song Song instead of Kuta until like 2 or 3 years ago. Anyways, this dude, no stranger to wacky stuff. Less so nowadays. And obviously his level has gone up because of it. But one of my favorite Kutazoa moments, and I wish I had the recorded game for you guys, was it was a Spanish mirror matchup, right? And when you think Spanish versus Spanish, you tend to think, oh, they're going to go conquistadors. So Spanish mirror matchup, and he snuck archers in the back of the guy's base. Like, let's pretend this is a Spanish player. He had snuck a villager into the back of the guy's base. No one ever makes archers with Spanish because they're one of the few civs that don't get crossbow, right? Denied the guy's castle with archers. Oh, it was epic. And unfortunately, that game's probably so old now. It's probably like 5 years ago, 5 years old. But it's just one of my favorite games in my memory bank. Spanish mirror matchup, using archers to deny a castle after you sneak in with a villager earlier. Okay, so anyway, Song's up. Sorry, I rambled a little bit. Song's up. And we have Man-at-Arms now coming in from Overtaken. You look at Song. He actually hasn't scouted this, which is really bad. It's really, really bad. But he does sense something could be up. And there's a Turkish player who's playing Gurjara only these days. And he tends to love to wall up and open with archers. Let's see if Song can defend from this. He actually ran into the TC, so that wasn't good. This could be good, actually. I don't think that was even intentional, but he's trapped the eagle in here. But what's tricky is you kind of have to kill the eagle, but you also have to build the house. So good pressure here. And, oh, these villagers are trapped in. Yeah, Song with a rough start here. He's got archers coming over, though. And Overtaken's going to try and get some kills. And villagers are going to make it to either this wood line or a straggler tree. But Man-at-Arm Archer is part of our meta for a reason. You get the early control, potential to kill villagers faster than pretty much any other play. And then you follow it up with your own archers. So the key here for Song is to always stay at least one ahead with the ranged units. And wall this stuff out. Because he was up a little faster because he didn't have to make the Man-at-Arms. So if he's able to stay at least one ranged unit ahead, it should be fine. Also remember, still has the sheep in here. That's definitely a big bonus for him here. Now, notice how Song played it. He went for the wood upgrade, and he went for the farm upgrade. So he was able to make archers, able to get the wood upgrade, and get the farm upgrade, and his eco is looking very clean right now. And if you're Overtaken, you begin to question, like, okay, well, was the investment worth it? Because I was delayed on my eco upgrades, and I didn't kill a villager. So, I think for now, the problem for Song is simply the fact he could be hit at any time. And Overtaken is walling. I mean, Overtaken's going to have 2 golds behind these walls. He's going to have the stone behind these walls. He's definitely worse off when it comes to the food eco, but he is walled up. Song, though, villagers stranded. And now getting hit on this side at the same time. Man, Overtaken's insane with his pressure. It's just constant. I don't think Song's the type to be able to get this with a quick wall, but I think it could make it back to the TC. Getting the blacksmith down now to get fletching, and yeah, villager went down. But this is good for Overtaken so far, because he can see that the archers are over here, which means he could, in theory, go over here. He's going to wall up now. And I think the position you would want to be in, honestly, guys, is you'd want to be full walled. Is Overtaken Turkish? No, Overtaken is from... Oh, what's the name of the country? It's got like a blue... Oh, wow, another villager goes down. Overtaken is killed too! He's overtaken the opponent with villager count. Estonia. Oh, man, I wish I wouldn't have looked at chat. I was going to try and describe the flag and like figure it out in my head. Yeah, he's from Estonia. Well, again, sucky situation to be in. React. 2 villagers killed. Overtaken's got to be feeling pretty good. The trade-off, though, is, of course, he hasn't had the goats. He hasn't had 13 farms. He's only at 9. And, wow, he's actually getting the wood upgrade now. I thought for sure he clicked it before, but he must have canceled that. Only 25 seconds of TC idle time for Overtaken. Only 11 seconds of TC idle time for Song. That is what separates the big boys from some of the other players who are skilled, not necessarily pro. Keeping those villagers producing all the time. Obviously, your goal is to kill villagers. You got to make sure you're producing them too. Yeah, Alperen is the Turkish player that's playing Gurjaras right now. Correct. And people aren't really enjoying the fact that he's spamming Gurjaras. Here comes Song Song. You know, time to retaliate. Overtaken. I was just hoping, I think, to just sit behind the walls, go up towards Castle Age, but I think he's waiting for a market here. I think he's going to have to place a market to keep this out, and boom. Called that one. He's got to be a little antsy about this, but overall, I think he's just waiting to come in and pounce on that. Sometimes players will just build the market, put it at around 10%, and then not plan on finishing it, but he's going to finish it. And he says, why not use the market? Let's just send more villagers to gold, and I'll maybe buy some food here. Yeah, Song Song was AFK at the start, you're right. He was AFK for the first 10 seconds. So now he's at 25 seconds of TC idle time, which I guess will just be 15. It's interesting to me that Overtaken doesn't want to engage against this. I think he's waiting. But he also might go for a complete tech switch. And look at this, guys. He's going to go all in. So I'll make more videos on Overtaken. He said something like this to me. Screw the meta. I make my own meta, which I think is going to appeal to a lot of my viewers out there. We also have Song Song using the market a little bit. That is very much the meta. Yeah, he said something like that, and not really with Aztecs, but with a lot of Cav civs, he loves to go forward archer ranges, little tower, force you into skirmishers, and then flood you with knights later on. We've seen some crazy things. Like, he had this Saracen build order for a while. He's actually been sending me Rex, but I keep forgetting to show them to you. But anyways, he's up, but they're up at the same time, and you'll notice what's going on over here for Song Song. Song Song's on stone. And guys, if I were in Song Song's position, and I haven't seen the range units yet for Overtaken, first off, I'm keeping a close eye on my wood lines. But the second thing I'm doing is I'm thinking that he might go Eagles. It's a very common switch for Aztecs. It feels like you never want to continue making archers against the Gurjaras right now because of this Ravamsha rider we talked about. So again, I went crossbow and eagle. Completely died to this Ravamshas anyways. But I think a lot of that had to do with the fact I had too many crossbows in the mix and switched to that too late. Anyways. Song Song can't really tell, but a good reaction there. He doesn't lose his vills. Overtaken, massing those eagles right now. Okay, that archer was killed. It's kind of funny how some people get mad when players pick the same civ like Huang or this guy you're talking about do. I don't know if mad's necessarily the word, but it can be annoying if a strat or a civ is particularly OP. Like when Kumans first came out, I don't know how many of you guys were around, but I think Kumans on the launch of DE were probably the most OP civilization of all time. Their second TC built faster, Step Lancers owned everything, and I think were even cheaper, I forget. Hip checks were stronger. I'm going to make a list of the most OP units throughout Age of Empires 2 history, or sorry, the most OP civs. It'll be a fun little video I'll get to eventually. But anyways, I think Kumans were number one, and Vivi just played nonstop Kumans. And there was no way to know if your opponent was going random back then. The way civs were selected was different. So it was just Kumans, 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 Kumans. Like, yeah, obviously it's a strategy game, but like at that time it was super annoying. And, you know, everyone plays the game for different reasons. But, man, Overtaken has just overtaken this army. Elite Skirm was completed for Song Song, and this is bad. This is bad, man. I mean, his army is, like, completely useless out there. And I'm going to assume he didn't know. I think it's fair to say that he did not know that his opponent was going to go Eagles. And here goes Overtaken. He's going to dive now. I think he realizes his opponent has to do a switch. He's going in. Now, unfinished gates. They do not have armor yet, so these Eagles could actually do something here. But you've got more villagers building this. The pressure's on. Obviously, you've got villagers garrisoned here, too. It's tricky. And Overtaken just continues to fight. Meanwhile, he's actually bringing his range units forward. It's possible, though, that these... Oh, the gate opens! The gate opens! I was going to say it's possible that would happen. Villagers want to die, okay? I know death sounds like a terrifying experience. But believe me when I say these villagers are sick of this, what is essentially slave labor. They have no say in it. They don't get paid. They just get popped out of the TC. They don't enjoy it, okay? That's why they bug on your wood line. It's why they open gates. Villagers don't want to live any longer. You have to think for them. You have to be careful in those situations. And Song Song had such a good game. And now he is getting overwhelmed. Now, he wants to build a unit, which I think is perfect against eagles. So he's going to go towards the best unit, and good job here to keep things walled out. But man, he's now lost 8 villagers. Obviously, the idle time's been insane. 45 minutes of idle time with villagers and counting. And I mean, he's even going to lose the range units. Look at this. Overtaken is now running in this way. So in theory, he's going to kill these villagers as well. Oh, my word. That sucks. But it was such a good play from Overtaken. Like, Overtaken hid the eagles behind the walls, right? So Song Song went Elite Skirmisher, assuming that it was going to be archers. And he saw his time window. He's like, I'm going to dive. He ran right underneath that TC. Song Song has lost a total of 10 villagers. Make it 11. Make it 12. And I guess in the end... Oh, is there a hole there? Has there been a hole there the whole time? Oh, no! Make it 14 villagers. Ripperoni, man. Ripperoni. It's going to be 15 and then 16 frickin' vills lost. Yikes. Well, hey. He's still got 8 goats inside of the mill. Life is a matter of perspective, okay? You could look at the negatives. You could look at the bodies on the ground and say this is bad. But you could also look at this and say that's good. My opponent doesn't have that. I've got a nice little wheelbarrow there. He has actually researched wheelbarrow, so that's accurate. And here come the disco throwers, okay? The chakram. These things look freaking awesome, okay? You know, you could talk about balance of some civs, but I think one of the big reasons that we play the game is because the units look freaking cool. And unique units, I mean, that's how I started off playing the game, focusing on unique units. So it is a unit that throws these discs, right? And it's essentially infantry. So it's ranged infantry. Good job from Song Song there. It definitely feels like a unit that you would not want to be making eagles against, because eagles tend to be good. Ooh, man, as we have another villager go down. Eagles tend to be good against archer units, but not so much against other forms of infantry. And they're actually very fast. Like, I don't think he researched squires. These things are freaking fast. You know, you almost lose all the pressure of the game when that many villagers go down, because in your mind, you're like, well, yeah, I should lose this game. I should lose this game. So Song Song's like, screw it, let's have some fun. Has to quick wall there, well played. And back at home, by the way, Overtaken's on 3 town centers. Overtaken is now 25 vills ahead. Aztecs get 33% more gold per relic. So he's doing his best to run around right now. And he's snagging the relics. He got relic number 1 already. Gonna go for relic number 2. And these things aren't affected by ballistics or anything, so they do miss their shots if you run perpendicular to them. So it's been a good job here from Overtaken, who I think is going to need to think about tech switching. Now, again, this player, this Alperin guy, he's playing with a lot of Gurjaras right now. So it's good for me as a caster. They get to see, like, learn the balance a little bit. And I really think their Gurjaras are fairly well-rounded civ. I don't think they're like a civ that's like, wow, that's super OP. But I think that they kind of have options for everything. They have this against infantry. They have the Shravamsha Rider, which is against archers. And then they've got camels against knights. We have Elite Skirmisher now for Overtaken. Now, I actually played this exact civ matchup. So I had Aztecs against Gurjaras. Granted, the game was closer with the Vill count. And I also made Skirmishers, and I didn't feel like the Skirmishers actually did that much damage. I think they have 0 bonus damage against them, right? So Skirmishers have very low base attack. I know this unit only has 40 HP, but I'm not sure skirms are necessarily the best unit. Maybe you need to make something like crossbow. Like, look at this. Don't do that much. But you've got 30 more villagers right now if you're Overtaken, so you just got to keep massing eagles, mass skirms, and then outmass the opponent, you hope. They don't have good options against Imperial Camel without gold. Yeah, I guess that's true. But I think, don't Gurjaras have a technology that gives their camels more melee armor? Forgive me, because I could be confusing that with the Bengalis. No, I think Bengalis don't get camel. I'm getting there now, guys. I think Dravidians maybe have that tech. 91 villagers versus 26. Sadly for Song Song, he doesn't have the numbers yet. He is going to go for siege, though. And we see now the 4th TC for Overtaken. And this has just gone perfectly. He's got tons of kills. He's got a massive eco. He's got 3 relics. Could always work on 4. And look at this unit. Look at this unit. And this might be the first time that Overtaken realized, because it wasn't that obvious from the earlier engagements, as these units do kind of like splash damage or pass-through damage, almost like a scorpion, guys. Look at that clear up. They had the hill advantage, and you have to really think about how you clump up your units when you fight against this thing. Or these things, I should say. And you can see the panic is set in a little bit. He's like, oh, geez, that's not really good. Drop a castle back here. But can we go back? Hold on. I want to go back and look at that. That was satisfying. Let's watch this again. Boom, baby! Yeah, it's a human onager. Yeah, that's a good way to say it, I guess. That was so good. Hold on, hold on, hold on. This is what you guys subscribe for. Ready? 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 Here's the engagement. Boom. Dead. Perfect. Okay, back to normal speed. Sorry if that was weird. Maybe someone could remind me the cost of these chakrams, but they're also not that expensive. So it's fairly easy to mass. Keep in mind, that was all virtually before upgrades came in, and those eagles get slaughtered. We saw this before. And that was when Overtaken was dropping the castle and trying to mass more units. Okay, so Chakram is great against Skirm. Chakram is actually very good against eagles. And here comes Song Song. Song Song must realize he's behind now. He's going to drop a castle. What's interesting is still less than 3 minutes of TC idle time for Overtaken. So his boom has been insane. But now he's got to worry on army composition. Now, this is going to be a spot of bother here for Overtaken if the castle goes up. But it's still going to be further back. And Song Song's still trying to catch up with villagers, so he's going to add the 4th TC. And this is actually a pretty good situation for Song Song, because Song Song could take out this TC. And Song Song also is going to have 4 of them with really good eco upgrades, too. He got the Castle Age Wood upgrade and Farm upgrade and has Wheel. And to me, it kind of looks like Overtaken wants to go in. I think it seems natural. Your opponent has a castle. You're going to drop a castle here. If this castle goes up, then you've got 2 castles that could make trebs, that could push there. Obviously, you're still going to have an army comp problem. Now, Aztecs can go for Atlatl, which gives their skirms +1 range and +1 attack. Oh, man, look at the villagers go down. I always call that Aflac. That is not what it's called. And then, okay, now the skirm's in high enough mass. Now you've got ballistics. Now it's doing an okay job. Wild, guys. Song Song has brought this game back. And he must recognize now with 2 castles from the opponent that he's got to go for that kill. And now he's adding stables. So we've seen the eco for the Gurjaras. We have seen the unique unit out of the castle for the Gurjaras. Great recovery from Song Song. Do you have a chance here? And Overtaken's no slouch, by the way. Overtaken being 2,300, there's only 40 or 50 players who can say that in the world. And Overtaken's going to go crossbow. See, that's what I was thinking, right? So I was thinking, because I played in the matchup, the exact matchup. I ended up going for pikes and arbalest and skirmisher. But it's super, super difficult if you don't have control of the whole map, right? The game I played, it's kind of not even worth talking about because of the positioning. But the positioning here is like, bam, you're going to get an engagement right in your face right now, and you better do something about it. And honestly, really good job from Overtaken. Dodges, a bunch of shots. And that's not an issue anymore. Keep in mind, these Shrivamshas, they're very low on gold, guys. They're extremely low on gold. I think it's like 20 gold per Shrivamsha, and then you can get an elite version, and Overtaken! Surely he sees this? Yeah, I think he knew, and he was waiting for a shot so he could dodge it, and wow. Song Song's not going to be too pleased with that. Okay, so we have the Cav armor now. If the Shrivamsha is good against archers, they're also going to be good against the crossbow. Or sorry, this, yeah, they're going to be good against the skirms, obviously, but also the crossbow. We're going to see Trebs here for overtake, and he's making a Treb out of every castle. Remember, the Shravamsha, you only need stables to produce. We now have Imp armor coming in. And Overtaken, thinking about a raid. Keep in mind, Overtaken's got relics. Overtaken was faster to the Imperial Age. There's a lot of reason to think, let's get further ahead and let's hit him. There he goes. Casual castle here for Song Song. 0 relics, but 81 kills in this game. He's massing the Shravamsha. He's going to lose his castle if he's not careful. He'd have to dive underneath this castle and underneath this castle to get there. The castle's getting upgraded. The castles are getting upgraded due to the crossbows getting upgraded. Now, hold on a second. I'm curious on your thoughts, okay? Ultimately, I think whether I want changes or not with a lot of the new civs, naturally, after a couple months, there are some tweaks, right? Is this unit a little too fast? I think it's the fastest unit in the game. It might be a little slower than a king. Look how fast they are. Now, granted, there's not a lot of speedy units for Overtaken, but holy crap. These things are on steroids. Now, here they go. They don't have the highest base attack, but they can ride in there. One Treb's down. Another Treb's down. Again, it says they dodge arrows, so they are able to basically tank shots. And the Trebs are the first thing that Song Song goes for, and he's taken out 4 Trebs underneath castles. Meanwhile, Overtaken's over here, and Overtaken's like, what? I killed 20 villagers. What's happening? And now there's Trebs for Song Song. And he's like, you don't have anything to take out my Trebs. What are you going to do about it? It is the fastest unit. Yeah, it's stupid fast. It's particularly, like, the fact that it counters archers and is significantly faster than archers, as all mounted units already are, means it is questionable to ever make archers against the civ. And so if you go into knights, they have camels that do extra bonus damage. And if you go into infantry, they have the chakram. Here come the Shravamshas here. They are not elite Shravamsha riders. They are still owning. You guys are going to take this moment as we watch Song Song somehow take the score lead after a horrible start to Castle Age, to clap in terms of the flow of the civilization, to say, well done, devs, because there's a lot of civs that it's like kind of all over the place. I ran about Sicilians maybe more than I should. Civs that don't have a flow to them. I really like how this civ flows. Make this, and then you got to strategize and counter that, and it's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I like that. You could say a similar thing with Aztecs, right? You got Eagles. If they make, like, champions, you got Jaguar Warriors. If they make archers for Jaguar Warriors, you got the good skirms. But this is a crazy comeback from Song Song. And he's got the Shravamshas now. We've got Elite Eagle Warrior. And the Shravamshas are going to dive. Still not Elite Shravamshas, by the way. And snipe another Trebuchet. They're holding their own. This is all before the Chakrams come in. The Chakrams are going to do a very good job against the Eagles, as well as a very good job against the Yarbs. Overtaken's got 3 relics, but he's completely on the back foot right now. And he's going to have to deal with this. He's going to have to push the castles back. He's lost so much siege. With a big ball of Arbs, you can handle them. Well, it's going to take some time. Going to take some time, and then you have to be able to move over to the opponent's base. He's quite simply, Overtaken doesn't have the control of the game anymore after those Trebs were sniped. Now you've got to react a little bit. Here we go. See the Shravamshas taking their engagements. Good work here from Song Song, and then obviously you're going to see a reaction here from Overtaken. Overtaken goes in with the Eagles. He's got 9+2 attack. He snipes the Trebuchet, but he can't get too close. And you've got to use spread formation here, guys. You've got to spread your units out. Because we saw earlier what can happen. Oh, that's painful. That's so painful. We've got Elite Chakram Thrower coming in. These things are about to have full armor. They're going to go from 40 HP and 5 base attack, I think, to 60 HP and 6 base attack. And armor might change as well. Forgive me for not having those stats memorized. I couldn't even tell you what it is for the Gebetto, for example. But man, is that a lot of military all of a sudden. But watch it. Watch it. Elite comes in. Will these things die? It looks like they will die. This is incredible. The Trebs are still going for Overtaken. He had some issues, but he sorted them out. And he takes all the Trebs, says, how do you like it? And it's 170 population for both of them, but man, oh man, did those chakrams kill a lot of eagles. It killed a ton of eagles. My goodness. It's 50 HP and 6 base attack, and they got a bit more armor. But that unit is... I mean, they lost the castle support. Is very little support from the Shravamshas. And look at the hold. That's crazy, man. This unit is good. As are the Shravamshas. 0 on gold for Song Song. He needs the gold here, and he needs the gold here. And obviously, he needs gold to make more of his units. It's not a lot of gold to end up making these Shravamshas, but it does still cost gold. Overtaken looking to mass up and make another wave here. Overtaken has pretty decent eco over here. A pretty decent eco over here. He's taking this gold. He's also looking around for other resources. Very good job. Can someone remind me if the Gurjaras get Hussar? I think they do. That might be something that Song Song wants to work on. He's got 76 on food right now. And I know that the starting eco with the goats is like pretty unimportant right now, but that does help, obviously. That was another amazing clear up. Looks like a very balanced Civ. Minor nerfs will make it a good pick for tourneys. I honestly think this Ravamsha's speed, combined with how good it is against everything, is the biggest issue that needs to be addressed. But yes, I think the flow of the Civ is good. I do think that this Civ needs changed. Slightly. Because of the Shravamsha, but still. Song Song, I'm so impressed he brought it back. Shravamsha or no Shravamsha or no Chakram. 180 population. He's getting raided by eagles here. Getting raided by eagles here. Overtaken has to do some chasing. You can tell he grouped up whatever units he could find here. We have barracks from Overtaken in the very north. He continues to look for more resources. This is what you should do. You should have the relics. You should work with the relics. And then you should deny the extra golds. That's precisely what we've seen from Overtaken. These Shravamshas are going to run underneath the castle. They could get some kills here. Eventually will die, but they really don't take a lot of damage underneath castle fire. And then a lot of villagers have gone down here. But if anything, Song Song needs to lose villagers because he's overboomed a little bit. And now watch this engagement. Oh, okay, never mind. He mispatrolled, misfired or something. These eagles are looking to dive in and kill those things. I think this is worth it. I think the eagles will get dealt with, but this is very worth it. We'll see if Overtaken can get that castle up. A banger of a match. These Shravamsha are still here, by the way. They killed like a dozen villagers there, despite the castle having full upgrades. And speaking of full upgrades, we now have Garland Wars, which is not cheap. Used to be my favorite unique tech in the game because I thought that attack was all that mattered back when I started playing. And that's going to mean we have fully upgraded Eagle Warriors from Overtaken. An amazing match here, guys. Song Song's a great player. He's so good to watch. So is Overtaken. So fun to watch these two. Look at Song Song. He knows something's up. He's going to deny that. But then Overtaken's now pushing the middle. So we've got Lycav in now. For the sake of testing, I wish we would have had Elite Shravamsha. We've got continuous Chakram production from these castles. And you can tell that Song Song is respecting this a lot now. And he's ready to try and make a push, as we now have a Ladle too. So fully upgraded Aztecs. One of the best 1v1 civs historically in our game. The Aztecs. Look at the Shravamshas. Oh man, that's really catching up with Overtaken. But Overtaken's continuing to push. 50 skirmishers! He only has 8 eagles, guys. He only has 8 eagles. These Shravamshas, and even a mix of Lycav, could do so much. Again, it's only 20 gold per Shravamsha. Here we have the fight. There are pikemen in the mix. We got +8 attack, which is obviously huge. Best engagement there for Song Song. Look how fast the eagles went down. And more Shravamshas are coming in. And now we've got the Chakrams coming in. And the military count is plummeting for Overtaken. He couldn't deny the gold in the north. He might have 4 relics, but he is not going to be able to take the hill. Overtaken is being deleted from the map. 80 farms for Song Song. He should be making some Lycav, surely. He's doing it now? But what a clear up. From 70 army to 30 army, just like that. What a ridiculous game. Like, I would just feel so helpless if I was Overtaken. Like I said, I played this matchup I went for a very similar army composition. And the only reason I was able to win is not because of my units, but it was because of the positioning with castles and whatnot in the long run. And also because I wasn't up against freaking Song. But, like, now we're going to have to ask some questions here on what could Overtaken have made differently against a Civ that's kind of seen as a Civ that can deal with anything. Like, name a civilization that counters the Aztecs. You probably can't. There's not many of them. And maybe it's the Gurjaras. Also, he has Elite Revamsha now. Oh, no, he doesn't. Okay, I thought he had Elite. I saw someone in chat say that. He doesn't have Elite. Unless Capture Age is glitched. Which I don't think it is. And Song slowly massing some trebs, just waiting to go for the killer blow, and he's everywhere. If you have 4 relics with Aztecs, you never want to resign in these situations. Why would you ever resign when you have 4 relics with Aztecs? You're going to have tons of gold. Oh. Okay, he's got 1 relic with Aztecs. Bad timing on that. And Overtaken calls the GG. 138 Revamsha Riders were made in that game. What a sick comeback, but also what a sick Civ. Honestly, it's a combination of both, right? Song, I would have resigned. Like, so many people who will watch this would have resigned after losing 17 villagers. Maybe it was the fact that it was a new Civ. Maybe he's like, let's try something. Maybe afterwards he's like, how did I bring that back? What a throw from the enemy, blah, 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 blah. But 438 kills, 315 deaths after losing 17 villagers and being behind by 30. So the question is, what do you make? And what do you do differently if you're Overtaken? I think the first thing that comes to mind is you cannot use the normal grouping against these chakrams, man. You just cannot. You have to spread them out as much as possible, which is particularly tricky when you then have Usain Bolt Revamsha riders that could chase you down, and you might want to be clumped up. Like, you're going to be, like, formation changing nonstop, I feel like, against the Gurjaras. Other thing for Overtaken was that one engagement that we rewatched and it made weird sound effects to. I think if you keep your mass up there, and then early Imperial Age, you just have so much that you can push down the castles, it's maybe a little different. But, like, this Revamsha can dive underneath castles, can snipe trebs, no problem. They can raid villagers, no problem. They can take out archers, no problem. And then the Civ has answers to everything else. The only way would be Jaguar Warrior and Arbalest with good micro. Yeah, and it's, like, really hard to get to, right? It's so much harder to get to Jaguar Arbalest than it is to get to Chakram and the Revamsha Riders. That's wild. That's absolutely wild. And, I mean, again, you know, back to crediting Song. The guy's got 83 farms. So it actually has 102 farms, but he doesn't have farmers for everyone. That's pretty crazy. So he took advantage of a few situations and immediately boomed up behind it like a god. There's the KD. I'm curious on everyone's thoughts on YouTube. Do you think that this Revamsha Rider is too fast? Do you think it's just fine? Do you think I smell? You know, give me your thoughts. Again, I like the flow of the civilization. I like how you can say you have initial opening, which is strong. Let's say Scout Rush. Or let's say, you know, you go for archers. When it makes a counter, you can switch into this. They make this, you switch into this. That's how good Age of Empires civilization should play out. I really like that. They truly do feel like they have an answer to everything. Now, do they have an answer to, like, really strong siege? Like, I don't think they're going to be good on Arena, for example, because they can't use their mobility. And, like, Halberdier and Siege Onager, I mean, granted, that wrecks a lot of civilizations, but that would be really tough to stop. Do they have really good monks? I don't think so. So they're more of an open map civ, I'd say. But man, on these maps, it's strong. It's strong. And if you don't kill villagers against the civilization in early feudal, they have better eco because those goats or pigs in this case, oink oink, are going to be sitting inside of the mill. So I'll be keeping an eye out on more Gurjara games. But right now, my feel, having played against it and played with it many times, is it's up there, man. It's up there. And I think players are going to figure things out more and more as we go on. But honestly, guys, if you are up against scouts nonstop, you might want to go for the Gurjaras. Go for the Gurjaras and go into, like, Camel and Revamsha Rider. Against Scout and Knight, it would completely wreck. The camels are so strong. with the Gurjaras. So that would be my final recommendation there.